See if I can get my settings adjusted here. All right. All right, so first I'm going to talk about just a couple changes that I became aware of. So these techniques where we go here, we block up like this. So it was you kind of move in and block up like that. And nunchaku is not always the best blocking weapon uh, because it's not solid. It's not a solid stick. So when you block like this, it doesn't just stop the attack cold, because if they're hitting pretty hard, it can still, move your nunchaku in like that. So it's not a good blocking weapon. What it is a good entangling weapon. So instead of just blocking cold and stopping somebody's attack, the idea with nunchaku is you move in and jam them up and wrap their weapon or wrap their arm. Like with a sword, just come in and wrap up their sword because you're gonna get sliced. Um, but if you can, you know, if you can keep them, a little bit hesitant to rush in on you by swinging it, and then look for your opportunity, and they pull back that sword, and you can come in and wrap up the arms. That would be really your only shot, is trying to wrap up the arms. You cannot wrap up a sword. You cannot wrap up. It would be difficult wrapping up maybe like a machete or something without risking getting yourself sliced up. But if you can get even closer, time it. If they pull their weapon back and you can get in and wrap up the arm, that's going to be a better shot. So that's how I see it. But the movement in the kata is you go in, you block up, and then this kind of figure eight movement, continue with this kind of swinging sequence, right? And so you can't just block and swing if that's a strong, dedicated attack. I think the only way is you got to get off to the side. So if I'm here, what I would do is not just move in, if that was my goal, is I would probably move out here, kind of try to deflect it with the hard part of the nunchaku, oh, and go in with the swing. To make sure you're hitting with that hard part of the nunchaku, though, because it can be pretty difficult to calculate, we're putting it together like this, is what Kinjo Kaicho's been showing. So basically you're pushing this up, you're pushing this in, and you're holding that with tension so that it's structurally as sound as you can make it. And so I think there the idea is you can actually momentarily kind of block a weapon, deflect it a little bit, boom, and then come on. So from here up, blocking and deflecting. All right, then there's a turn where you go around and move in like this. So that's going to be tricky because you got to do the same thing on the other side now. Step around and through, pushing the left hand up. So it was the right hand, the nunchaku in the right hand was vertical, and this has like a slight upward slope in the left hand. Now, when you spin here, you're pushing the left hand up, and the right hand is a little more horizontal, but with a slope. And then going into your sequence. Kinjo Kaicho has talked a little bit about sometimes when you're trying to make a really tight turn, turning on your heel. This is one area where you could experiment with that a little bit. I don't love the idea of turning on your heel, but I think from a general principles of combative applications, it's usually better to be on the balls of your feet. We teach everybody stay on the balls of your feet when you're fighting, when you're sparring, when you're doing martial arts techniques. But you can generate more centrifugal force and make a tighter turn by turning on your heel, because it's closer to the inside of your body, so you're able to make a tighter turn. A tighter turn generates more centrifugal force. So something to play with a little bit. To do that, when you go here, this is one movement where you could do that, is you would shift, you'd spin on this back heel as you spin around and go in. So you just caught nunchaku after that, and you're gonna pivot on that back heel and go in. All right. The other thing I would say is the movements where we kneel. So there's a couple movements, sequences where we go into a kneeling position, and we're gonna slide into those. So not just step into a lunge, we slide into it and bring the back foot behind your front foot. So it makes like a little bit of a triangle, right? So your front foot's here, knee, and then the back foot is actually stacked behind your front foot. And the reason is there's like a swordsmanship, like in Iaido, I guess there's a technique where you're drawing, and from here, you put the foot like that to help you stand up more dynamically or more with more strength to come up and whoosh, draw your sword. So, whole kata, and osai. Slide in, osai, nodozuki, kama. Swinging sequence, non-meburi. Kontezuki, so you're hitting with the end here. Just leave a little bit there for people who don't know. Here it is. Kontezuki. Now we're to that point. We're gonna go slide in, push this up, push this together. Up and together, and big figure eight. Across. Little bit diagonal. Okay. Now we're gonna spin on that back heel, slide in, big figure eight. An angle where you can see. So it's osai, nodozuki. Osai, nodozuki. This is like a throw, like a dart. You're holding it like this and throwing it at their eye. Tension. Step behind in that triangle. In. Osai, switch the grip around, nodozuki. Arigatou gozaimasu. Hi. Hello. All right, so one thing I was thinking about with this technique, so it's a Mitsubishi. So you're throwing it, and the idea, you throw it like a dart. So you're trying to be real precise with it. You're kind of throwing it at the eye. And are you really going to be able to hit the eye? There's a good chance you're not really going to hit the eye. But you could potentially hit the face. So if you're aiming for someone's eye, in the movie The Patriot, he's like taught his kids how to shoot, and now he needs his kids to go shoot the British soldiers. You know, because it's about the American Revolution. And so he says, remember what I taught you, like aim small, miss small. So aim for the eye, but if you miss the eye and you pop him in the teeth, or you hit him in the nose with the end of that nunchaku really quick, that's still gonna have a stunning effect. So anyway, correct. Yep. Watashi wa Amerikajin desu. All right. Well, I'm all done for now. Just a little bit of nunchaku training. So, jane, strength and honor. No, I'm afraid it's not. It's a practice.